You've probably spent countless hours laughing with Homer, rolling your eyes at Bart's antics, or feeling sympathy for poor, overlooked Marge. But even if you consider yourself the ultimate Simpsons expert, there's still plenty lurking beneath Springfield's surface that will surprise you.
So eggs, which were bad, then good, then bad again, are now good again. And wait a minute, now they're bad again.
Everyone knows Waylon Smithers as Mr. Burns' dedicated right-hand man with distinctly yellow skin. However, eagle-eyed fans remember that in his first appearance, Smithers appeared with dark skin, leading to confusion about his true design. Turns out, this was never the plan. David Silverman, longtime director and animator, revealed that Smithers was mistakenly colored darker due to an animation error during his debut. From episode 2 onwards, Smithers returned to his intended yellow complexion. Silverman emphasized that Smithers' role as Burns' sycophantic assistant meant the team decided against depicting him as a black character to avoid unfortunate implications. Interestingly, Smithers was originally inspired by Mr. Burns' real-life personal assistant. The character was also meant to be openly gay from the start, but this detail emerged more explicitly later in the series. Smithers has become an icon representing subtle yet impactful representation in animation. Marge Simpson's towering blue hair is iconic, but it wasn't initially meant as a fashion statement. Early in development, Matt Groening, creator of The Simpsons, planned Marge to secretly have bunny ears hidden underneath, connecting her to his previous comic series, Life in Hell, which featured anthropomorphic rabbits. Though this bizarre design was scrapped, keen players of the early Simpsons arcade game could briefly glimpse Marge's secret bunny ears if electrocuted. The concept initially intended to reveal Marge as a rabbit as a possible end to the show, linking Groening's two creations together. Thankfully, the idea was shelved, leaving Marge's tall hairstyle as merely a stylistic quirk. Groening joked about this concept in interviews, calling it a harebrained idea. Some storyboard art from early seasons still show traces of the ears hidden beneath Marge's hair. Ultimately, removing the bunny ears made Marge more relatable as a typical suburban mom. After decades of Springfield chaos, most fans think they know everything about the Simpson family. But here's a surprising detail. Maggie's middle name is Lenny. Yes, that Lenny. This revelation occurred casually in a flashback episode when Homer helped deliver Todd Flanders. Ned named his son Todd Homer Flanders as a tribute, prompting Homer to mention Maggie had similarly been named after Lenny Leonard. Poor Maggie, forever tied to Springfield's lovable but slightly clueless resident. Ironically, Lenny himself never seems aware of this honor. Remember Poochie, the infamous cartoon dog introduced into Itchy and Scratchy to boost ratings? This wasn't just a funny plotline, but a jab at real-life studio interference. During The Simpsons' 8th season, Fox executives genuinely suggested adding a permanent new character to spice things up. The show's creator hated the idea, but cleverly incorporated their disdain into an episode mocking exactly such desperate moves. They even sarcastically introduced Roy, a random character who moved in with The Simpsons briefly, making fun of cliched sitcom tropes. The message was crystal clear. Studio meddling rarely improves things.
You're right, Marge. It's not my fault. I'm not gonna let him treat Poochie like dirt anymore just because he's the new guy.
Right on, Mr. S.
Put a sock in it, Roy.
Roy's brief appearance and quick disappearance became a legendary commentary on sitcom cliches. The Poochie episode is now often cited as a textbook example of meta-humor in animation. Fox's real-life meddling ironically made this one of the show's most memorable and beloved episodes. Everyone in Springfield famously has 4 fingers. Well, almost everyone. Only 2 characters in Simpsons history have 5 fingers per hand, God and Jesus Christ. This subtle animation detail was an intentional choice to highlight their divine status. When God first appeared stroking Snowball II in Homer the Heretic, animators gave him the extra digit as a subtle marker of his divinity. Later, when Jesus showed up in Springfield, he also shared this unique trait. Everyone else in town remains eternally 4-fingered, making God's and Jesus' appearance strikingly special. Additionally, 5 fingers were briefly given to President George H.W. Bush, but quickly corrected. The Simpsons movie in 2007 was packed with celebrity cameos, from Green Day to Tom Hanks. However, Fight Club star Edward Norton almost had a notable appearance as well. Initially cast to voice a character struck under the Springfield Dome performing a Woody Allen impression, Norton's distinctive voice was eventually considered too distracting. Producers replaced him with the series regular Dan Castellaneta, although Norton finally joined Springfield 6 years later, voicing another character entirely. Several other celebrities, including Minnie Driver and Kelsey Grammer, narrowly missed appearing in the movie as well. Reese Witherspoon was also considered, but ultimately left out due to the scheduling conflicts. Imagine the refined menace of Sideshow Bob, voiced by none other than Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones. Initially, Jones was set to play Krusty the Clown's sinister sidekick before Kelsey Grammer brought his signature charm and gravitas to the role. Jones eventually became a frequent guest voice actor, notably appearing in the original Treehouse of Horror. Still, it's fascinating to imagine how different Springfield's favorite villain might have sounded with Jones' unmistakable booming voice behind him.
No, I am your father.
Thankfully, Grammer's sophisticated, sinister voice became synonymous with the criminal mastermind we love today. Jones was also considered for other villainous roles later in the series. Grammer himself admitted he initially found Bob's intellectual dialogues intimidating. Bob's operatic charisma has since made him an iconic figure in animation villainy. Homer Simpson's repeated accidents and hospital visits are a running joke, but did you ever wonder about the cost? Researchers actually calculated the total cost of Homer's many injuries over the years. Brace yourself. It totals around $143 million. From brain damage and radiation poisoning to paralysis and multiple heart issues, Homer has suffered them all. Each incident will cost a fortune in real life, yet somehow the Simpsons comfortably survive on one middle-class salary. It's probably best to not think too deeply about Springfield's financial mysteries. The Who Shot Mr. Burns episode captivated audiences in 1995, but did you know Maggie Simpson wasn't always the intended shooter? Initially, writers strongly considered Barney Gumble as the culprit, driven mad by Mr. Burns shutting down Moe's Tavern. Other contenders included Patty or Selma, with Burns entangled romantically, but Maggie won out because it provided the perfect unexpected twist. Alternate endings were even animated, including Smithers as the shooter. Ultimately, the iconic mystery ended with the unassuming baby, leaving fans delighted yet baffled. A Star is Burns from Season 6 is notable not just for its film festival storyline, but for one startling fact. Simpsons creator Matt Groening despised it enough to remove his name entirely from the credits. This episode prominently featured Jay Sherman from The Critic, a series Groening had no involvement with. Groening protested that the crossover episode essentially served as an advertisement for a show he neither created nor endorsed. Unable to prevent the episode's airing, Groening instead chose the drastic measure of disowning it completely, marking the only time he's ever publicly rejected a Simpsons episode. It's an intriguing footnote in the history of Springfield. There you have it. 10 astonishing facts even the most hardcore Simpson fans might have missed. And hey, with over 30 seasons of classic episodes, who knows what other hidden gems are waiting to be discovered? Next time you binge watch the series, keep these wild details in mind.